going to find himself then passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pite's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pite going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such off. He's not just second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah. And
It's all about the entertainment.
so I hope
so.
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself
Oh,
watching Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Hello everybody and welcome to the Tail Racing Ring Runners here for 2024 and Season 3. It's time to get into the second half of the season now, which we're very much getting into. Just a few more rounds to go after this one. In fact, 4 more after this one still to go. Today, it's the turn of the Radical SR8. No longer the most recent version of the Radical actually in iRacing, but it is the one that sounds a bit better, and I think some people prefer the way it handles as well. So it should be a good weapon to use over the course of the longest layout we have of the Nordschleife, the full Grand Prix circuit, followed by the Nordschleife itself. It's myself, Ewan Leary, alongside James Parfitt. Looking forward to this one, as I said before, James, in the last race that we did in the GT4s. Let's say we've had some experience in this car around this circuit. I'd forgotten just how good it sounded actually. What it has done as well is brought plenty of drivers out onto the circuit as well.
Yeah, we've got a full grid of 15. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome to sit and watch, to be fair. I love the SR8 and, you know, and I think overall these guys will love this car as well. And I think they're really going to be looking forward to seeing getting round. I know some of them have struggled in practice and I've been watching a little bit of the practice and qualifying. So it's going to be interesting to see, but let's bring you up the grid for the race.
Corey Stas has taken the pole position, second place in the championship standings with his first pole of the season. David Mull 2.3 seconds behind in second, with Evan Crutwell, the championship leader, in third. Matt Green is fourth, just ahead of where he's in the championship, fifth place where he stands currently. Alexander Betash is in the top 5 ahead of Dean Diltz. Got Chase Petterjohn and Patrick Elstrand round out the 4th row of the grid, to Tim Watchow and Dave Hernandez rounding out the top 10. Then you get to those, including Hernandez actually, who didn't set a time there. Jason Hightower, who unfortunately hasn't been at the last couple of rounds, which means he's slipped from second in the standings down outside the top 5. Dan Kosick is 12th place. Jamie Bender, Scott Stadler and Dylan Hesslink round out the 15 drivers on the grid. As we always say, qualifying is a short session where mistakes are punished, and so you very regularly get not many of the drivers actually setting times, and in fact only just over half managed it here today. It's going to be about the race though, and I'm going to be interested to see how some of those from the back get through the field, especially the likes of Jason Hightower, who has got a couple of podiums to his name this season so far in the GT3s and the GR86s. As I mentioned, was second in the championship after those first 4 rounds, but has had a couple of weeks away in the ARCA of GT4 races, so if he wants to make a championship charge, he's on his way off that now, but he will surely be a contender for this race win, something which he hasn't achieved so far this season, but he's going to have to do it from a very long way back.
No, I think that's the thing for Hightower. You know, he come in race 1, he was second, didn't have a first score 1600, so didn't have a great DCR, you know, he went up to third in the GR86s, and then he hasn't been here until obviously tonight, so it's going to affect his championship standings. It's a shame because it would have been interesting to see what he could do if he was here, so I think overall we'll have to see what Hightower is able to do. I'll be interested to see Corey Stats. He's not, well, he had a good time in the GT4s last time out, finishing second, and then it's been a very inconsistent season for Corey Stats. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys get on in these SR8s. So they're going to love the power, they're going to love the noise, are they going to love the speed? Well, it's a tough track, so let's see how they get on.
It's a fantastic sound that these cars make. The most recent Radical that the SR10 is now used. This SR8 here, this round of the championship. The longest lap we have, of course, 4 laps as always. Out of the final corner they go. And up towards the line, Corey Stats is in control of the field. Pastry pulls out onto pit lane, and the field stacks up very close behind. Mull gets in right alongside. Crutwell is right in behind, and look at Stas waiting a long time to get the field underway. But we are racing for round 7 of the Tail Racing Ring Runners for 2024 Season 3, and it's Corey Stas who takes the lead in towards turn number 1. He's even able to take the racing line in towards turn number 1. Through the full stadium section they go at the start. It's none of that awkward chicane at the beginning. It's the full Mercedes arena that Stas is using to pull away. Meanwhile, Mull and Crutwell go side by side on the way down towards turn 3. Crutwell with the inside into 4, and he stood up the place. He will be back as well in what a battle that has created a big lead for Corey Stas.
road, and it's opened up a gap to Evan Krautfeld, of course, who's Mr. Consistent at the moment, leading the championship as well. So it's still going to be quite interesting to see what happens. We've still got Nords, right? You know, the not so easy bit. This is probably the easiest part of this circuit layout, and then they go into the tricky Nord section, and well, we've seen people can terminate themselves in those tracks. So let's see how they go. Starts to get in looks like now this is just a little bit of a problem. He's only showing the corners off the side of the circuit. Jimmy Brendan's still going, then Dylan Hesselen is still going as well. It's still got that very close to the ground.
I think Will's struggling a little bit here, and McGreen's right all over the back of him now. Jim Jensen all over the back of Green as well. So it's all getting very close in for third place. We go on board now with Dean Dilton, really get a look as to just how difficult the circuit is in these cars. They do not like curves, even on a normal Grand Prix circuit, and so you can imagine what the challenge is like around here in the Nordschleife. It's going to be interesting to find out as well, though, who of these drivers has really done radical official racing in the past, because every single season, without fail, for some reason, this car is used at the Nurburgring Nordschleife, although normally it is just the Nordschleife itself and not the Grand Prix layout attached to it. However, if any of these drivers are regular official drivers from the Radical Series, they will be very comfortable here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? For some reason, Nords loves to appear on the Radical schedule. It seems to be there every single season, and a couple of years that we've done will use Nords as well. Not so much over the last couple of seasons. We've gone to other tracks, however, like Knocky on Reverse. That was quite interesting in the Radicals. But I think itself they seem to love putting this on, and you can see Krautfeld closing into Stas, but where's he going to go? That's going to be the question for Evan Krautfeld. How is he going to get on coming down into Arenberg, and whether or not he's going to be able to make it through here? I want to keep an eye on Arenberg, because we've seen previously, multiple times before, people get Arenberg all wrong and end up in the gravel track.
Oh, Hightower's on the move here, looking from the inside of James Penton, who, by the way, went off the road at the Sunaker S on that lap before. Forget it. Arenberg now the road. The excursions were very similar to one another, in that he just went off and popped back onto the road again, so no real dramas. He's down in ninth place now. Up through the field. I mean, as fast as he is, he's already lost a lot of time to the leaders, and not even the leader himself, Corey Stas, but actually the front five is already 5 seconds ahead of Elstrand at the moment, who's currently sitting in 6th place. That's a huge job for anyone who wants to get inside the top 5. He didn't set that time.
He needs to work out how he's going to get through. That's going to be the question. He's losing 5 seconds at the moment. That's the gap he's got to roughly extra to get us in front, I should say. If you have a look back and see what they are from the leader at the moment, Hightower being 9 seconds back from the leader. That in itself is absolutely massive at the circuit. It's not impossible to recover. We've seen it before. It's not impossible to recover. Yeah. But it is going to be a hard job for Hightower if he tries to make it through. Matt Green, on the other hand, he's got Dilts sitting, well, there, basically. You can literally see him right in the top down. And also Corey Stas has got Evan Krautfeld closing as well. So there's a couple of battles materialising. SR8 is probably the main cork in the bottle at the moment, as it's got Tom Rocho's there as well.
He's trying to get away now. Tim Rocho is on the pressure. Here goes Jason Hightower on the outside. It's a flat out corner in these cars, as opposed to some of the others we've seen in recent weeks, like the Alpha cars. And even around the outside through there, it's viable for Tim Rocho, who goes straight back through again. Now Chase Pettiton is going to try and follow through. And Jason Hightower could be getting quite a track backwards here. Up on the grass for Pettiton as he really tries not to go into the side of Jason Hightower. And so he just backs out of it in the end through Kesterson. Now here comes Hightower in the slipstream. Slightly on the way towards the Mutkirber corner as well, and he won't get to the inside. Oh no, he won't get to the inside, in fact. He won't get through. And this is the pain now for Jason Hightower, who still can't find his way through.
It's just you don't have to be a genius to be a great defender on this circuit, right? You literally can put your car in the middle of the racetrack and say, well, where are you going to go? That's the question. They're going to come up into the carousel on the left-hand side, Hightower, and he's still where he is. He cannot get through. And all because Elstrand can put his car wherever he likes, and that's going to be the thing. He's had another bit of a moment in that car as well. But for Hightower, he's just got nowhere to go. And it's so tough for ourselves. It can be very tight. Elstrand just couldn't put his car wherever else, so he can literally make Hightower stay there. The only place he really can't be is down there, expecting probably Hightower to make his move. So there's this battle going on here with Matt Green and David Morrow. They're literally separated by not a lot here whatsoever. So I think overall we've got this battle for 1-2, a battle for 3 and 4, and then we've got Elstrand, Watcher, Hightower, Pettyjohn and Cossack work line. So battles all the way through, and we're only on that one.
I'm going to be interested to see what happens on the Judging Hill actually, because I have a feeling these cars might top out actually at the top of the rev range in 6th gear. We'll wait and find out, of course, but I mean, Green's almost putting 6th gear on the way towards Bransgarten there, and I slightly fear that if they're revving out, then they're not going to get able to go any faster than the driver in front, and that could make things very difficult in terms of making an overtake. I mean, look at this through the Stefan Malapes as well. Already in 6th gear, has been in for some time, just touching the first of the 2 red lights you can see on the dashboard there. There's 2 red lights before you need to shift up, but of course you can't shift up anymore when you're in 6th, and you just have to stay at the speed to your terminal velocity, if you like, at the top of the rev range. Oh, it might not matter. Green gets it a bit wrong through the crowd carousel, and I'm afraid that could be that. He has to defend it to Galvencroft as Team Tilts tries to go around the outside. That would have been very brave. Now who's got the exit through here? Nobody really. Tilts was banking on going around the outside through Galvencroft, which maybe wasn't the best plan, but it's too late now. He's got to really home in on the slipstream here and try and pass on the Tossing Hill, but will they be touching the top of the rev range? Or will they be okay here? Slipstream. Meanwhile, Evan Cromwell looks like he's going to lead. They're not quite getting the top of the rev range. They do have enough speed to power past their rivals, and Cromwell uses that to take back the race lead.
Yeah, it's gone through there. They're running side by side, mind you. At this moment in time, they are coming into Tiergarten. You can see Cromwell on the right, orange and blue Golf. He does manage to get the lead. What's going on with Matt Green at the moment? But we're still touching a bit of Dean Dilts. What about Watcher and Hightower? Hightower does manage to make it through. Cossack in the background, mind you, is running side by side with Pettyjohn. And behind that is Scott Sadler. So there's still quite a little fixed battle happening here. And Corey Stas is trying to come back at Evan Croughfield down into turn 1. And at the moment, he's not managing to make it through.
Well, it's a new leader, and Stas wants to return to that race lead, of course, that he held throughout the opening lap. Cromwell is, of course, a race leader, and he's spent 2 weeks away from the top step. Army cars where he finished in 3rd place in GT4. In the GT4s, he finished just outside the top line for the first time. Already he was just inside the 5th place. To date. Of course, they will show the championship standings at the end, but they won't take into account the fact that the drop week has not been taken yet in the series. There are 4 weeks to go after this one. There's still 4 weeks after this one, and so it's probably about time to start thinking about it. Too much, I'm afraid. It's gone off the road down at turn 6, that is, on the Grand Prix circuit. But yeah, it is worth thinking about, because Cromwell's drop score at the moment is simply better than every single other driver. That means that he would lose points effectively to everybody else once that gets applied. For example, if it was applied right now, he would lose 8 points to Corey Stas, who's turned to be the 35 going into the race, being reduced to 27. Although that is comfortable, it is a reduction of over a quarter.
Yeah, Stas doesn't want to allow Croughfield that situation. The problem is, Croughfield's on a podium in the first 5 rounds. GT4 was the only one he missed out on. And as we say, he finished down the order with was 5th place. So for Evan Croughfield, it's now going to be about how's he going to come back in that. Looks like Dean Dilts has unfortunately returned to pit lane. So,
oh, wow.
So we'll hope.
Entire front end based on that pit. I know we're not going to be able to see the replay until the end of the race, but I think he's had a very big crash, because I'm pretty sure I saw his front end completely disintegrated on pit lane.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll have a look back at the Dilts incident. coming back at the end of the race like we normally do here. But I think Stas is really got to make these impressions over on Crawford. I'm not sure where he can get it. This is the run down to Ireland. I'm expecting the gap to close, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it this time around unless he's very, very brave. And it looks like Hightail's had a bit of a moment. He has.
Oh, wow.
And Batash and Scott Sadler have gone through Cossack, Pettinger. So Hightail's had a moment as well. And again, we'll have a look back at that one. But these leaders are on their way down into Arenberg now.
I think for Stas at the moment, it is just about staying in touch with Crutwell. You know, you're not going to be having many overtaking opportunities on the North Cyprus, so it's just about staying in touch for the moment, just as Crutwell did to him, and then they can battle it out on the back straight. But the end of the race is where the real problem comes. What do you do then? The hill towards Anhel Porseco. These cars have been geared very nicely, actually. They're not even touching the top of the red range downhill there. The reason why they might not be on the Dotting Herb, even though it is so long, is that it is slightly uphill right the way to the Bilstein Bridge. Not very much uphill, but it is a little bit, and that does certainly take a strain on the engine. It does reduce the straight line speed a little bit compared to what it might otherwise be. These cars have been geared well, and geared well for racing in terms of being able to punch into that slipstream and use the extra bit of rev range at the top to make a pass. As you say, Jason Hightower has dropped to 10th place now as a result of that incident. That was on the way out of Hohenheim, I think. Yeah, it was out of Hohenheim. So he must have spun on traction, but as we say, all replays will be looked at the end of the race as usual. One thing I have noticed here in this leading battle, David Moore is beginning to close in. 1.2 seconds, he's not there yet, and he needs to get in the slipstream because without it, he will struggle. But he's not far away after a difficult overlap.
He's closing in, David Mole, and it could be very interesting to see how close he can get. As I said, the slipstream is going to be mighty, so all of the little straights that we have got here the most stuff is not obviously going to benefit from. So unless these guys have some major drama between the two of them, I'm not at the moment he's struggling to get out there, and we don't know the same thing on this long run up. Into the Carousel complex is also the same as well. So he needs to kind of try and do it on pace, but it's very difficult. He's just pulled out 2 tenths over the last couple of corners, so maybe that chance is going to come and catch him very shortly.
Quite close to Dan Cossack here, while these guys are closing for a battle on the back straight. Cossack might make it work here, or Sadler, might make it work on Cossack here on the way towards the root curve. Again, slightly uphill here. I think he got there. Sadler seemed to have the momentum and then throw it all away, and I don't think that was an accident as they go into the fastest corner on the racetrack. It's probably not the best idea to go side by side, even though actually in these cars they've got pretty good downforce. They can actually do it flat out or near to flat out, and so you'd think going side by side wouldn't be the most difficult thing in the world, but actually it is very tricky. And so he decides not to, as Pettas goes for a spin in the background, has to wait to let Jason Hightower through before he can reverse back onto the road, but that's a costly error. He was catching that battle for 7th as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I have done exactly what he's done in this car at that precise corner. You just apply the pressure too much, you go in a little bit too hot, you try and brake drag it round, you apply the throttle, and again the back end comes round on you. So Bottas, you're not alone on that one. I've done exactly the same at exactly the same corner, and I've done it multiple times in this car. So yeah, there's not anything different for the SR8 to do that. They've got to just be a little bit more general application. They need to just make sure that they're not slamming the throttle. You know, feather it in, get the grip going first. It's like any car, if you start trying to spin it up or anything going out of the throttle down, your back end's going to go round, and they kind of want to try and avoid that, especially with the SR8s.
To the ground, and for the most part they very much are on board in this battle for the lead again, with Corey Stas trying to catch the race leader and eventually pass him for race lead.
Yes,
a very interesting battle between the two of them, and one where you really have to wait for the back straight. Ball's not quite with them anymore, and so it is a 2-horse race, but Corey Stas is not that close to Kratwald, not as close as I think it was the other way round, one lap ago. Here comes Corey Stas, and look at the overspeed. These cars are almost like open wheelers in the susceptibility to slipstream, and Kratwald doesn't stand a chance here. It's almost as if Stas has timed this perfectly, because if he was too close, he'd be through so quickly, he'd be worried about getting re-overtaken. And I think he will be worried about re-overtaking here, as Mull is absolutely flying. The double slipstream is sending him in with a whole head of steam. He's having to hit the brakes under the bridge because he's coming in with so much speed. The slipstream is so powerful in these cars. Side by side they go into the Tiergarten. Kratwald, despite all of those slipstream worries, believes the lead is the place to be. And a look from Stas certainly shows he was thrown off by that one.
Yeah, he had ended up basically Mole closing right in. Pettyjohn is going inside, and he's just gone past Elkenstrand. Still locked in behind Dan Cossack coming into Tiergarten as well. But we've now got this freeway fight. David Mole has cleared Corey Stas. Corey needs to be a bit gentle on the application there, because what I was talking about literally just really happened for him.
Very close. Hope for their sake they can stay in that moment. David Muller's got pressure on his shoulders because the race is in his hands now. If he can't catch up to the championship leader and two-time race winner this season, he might only become a three-time race winner this season. And it's only David Muller who can prevent him at the moment. And that'll be the frustrating thing for Corey Stas here. He was in the lead there not moments ago, but now all of a sudden he's at the whim of someone else, and he's got no control over whether he'll still be in touch with the race lead.
Sadler, unfortunately, for Scott Sadler, he has just made a mistake, and he's gone round. He's have a look back again, and Batash goes through and makes a move on him and moves himself out into that place again. Scott Sadler has gone around on that one. Now, the interesting thing about watching Mole, right, Stas does not attack. Mole will close the gap on hand forward. And I think Stas needs to kind of have to sit there and realise that actually, if I follow this guy, he will put me in, because at one point he down to 1.2, then he went drop below a second, and then he went back out to 1.3, but now back below 1.2 again. So Mole has got some pace in this car, and I don't know if Stas kind of realises that he's got pace, because at the moment, if he leaves Mole alone, Mole will bring him towards Evan Crowfield. They've just dropped him to Nords themselves, but you can see, watch the time, look, it just randomly comes down in front of you, 1.35, now we're 1.2. So Mole's got some pace on him, Ewan, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's there round about the end.
I think the problem for Muller is that he's not quite as consistent as the others. He does have good speed, but I think he does have some moments where he's a bit shaky. I mean, at the start of the race, he was especially shaky.
Well, there.
Compared to his qualifying position, he was going backwards very quickly, but got up to speed again. Now up to second place, and in the last few moments, he had just another one of those moments where he's felt a little bit uneasy again. Now that he's in the 60, this is a really high-speed section. Kratwald will be hitting a wall of air, and Muller is very good at slingshotting right up to the back of the series leader as well here. And look at that, the gap alleviated. He's actually left Stas behind somehow. The slipstream is so powerful, and it's Mull who seems to be getting the biggest benefit from it.
Yeah, he's got the biggest head of steam at the moment. Evidence for that is also Pettyjohn going down the same bit. They're coming down into Arenberg as well, and you can see as they come around the corner, they want to kind of be careful of that curve on the inside there. Take too much of it and your back end will go round, and I am speaking from experience once again here. I've visited every part of Nords in the SR8, so be careful, because two things: A, it doesn't like the curve, and B, it definitely does not like the grass. Jamie Bendel looks like he's had a moment, unfortunately for Jamie, he's dropped down the order now as well. But Mole, out of 3, fastest lap last time around as well, 3:10.95. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. So the Stas has a challenge here. Can he sit there and think, actually, he's quick in this car, I don't really need to do anything, I'm going to let him pull me forward into Crowfield, and maybe the Corey Stas, just maybe, might get a second place.
Very uneasy, I think, for Stas to watch this, because Mull does close in now and again to Crowd, but then he does lose some time as well. So it's easy to watch that and think, this is the guy who's going to take me to the front of the race again, because sometimes you do think that, and sometimes you don't, based on what's going on ahead of you. And at the moment, the answer to the question is no. David Wood can't pull this group back up to Grant Road again. He needs a good exit off of Bergbert coming up here very shortly. There's a long straight after that. This next right-hander, big braking zone. He needs to get back onto Grant Road again, just as he did on the way towards Arenberg on this lap.
Yeah, it's got the run out of Bergbert now, all the way out the Castleship, so right up into what will be the carousel sector. Now, for some reason, he manages to get the gap down on this sector. Now, I would have thought it would have been the other way. Crutchfield might have been able to get away. But I suppose with Courtney's test, a half a second back, you can see he's pulling out absolute chunks over the Crutchfield going on the straights. It's just, it looks almost like a different car to what everybody else is doing, because if you're consistently going at the same speed as the guy in front, you should not be able to close this gap up until you start hitting 3-4 tenths maybe for the draft to kick in. But the rules don't seem to apply to David Mole at this moment in time. He just seems to fly by no matter where he is.
It's absolutely unbelievable, really, the way he's able to close in. Now, the problem, I think, arises when, if you continue to do that, he goes in on the parts where he's supposed to be overtaking, then he's going to make overtakes. Because the way I envisage this is he's going to lose more time through this final section. This twisting part of the race, right away from high, right trickling down to the bottom, and then into he's going to lose a lot of time here, and it's all well and good making up the time on the straights, but he's going to be overtaking on the straights instead of just gaining that time back. Where are you going to get ahead of Crowd? And in the end, that's what it's going to boil down to here.
Never really looked at it like that, and you are right. If you can't get close enough to get in certain sectors of the race circuit, close enough to the guy in front, where is he going to overtake? I can't answer that question, because literally I don't have a clue. Now, he's been very slow through that section. He's lost about 3.5 tenths at the moment. That's been out to 1.5. But I can't answer that because I don't actually know where he could make the overtake if he is just using the straight to get in. Now, if he's relying on Crowdwell maybe making some kind of error, this is the guy as well, who's had a lot of podiums out of this round. What is it, 2, 4, 5 podiums out of this round, rather GT4s for Eric Crutchfield. He generally doesn't make a mistake very often, so if Mole's relying on him doing that, he could be in deep trouble here, and David Mole might be just looking to take his back and put his stats for the rest of the race.
We'll wait and see what goes on here, because it's an interesting situation, but Mole is not being able to catch back up to Crutchfield at all. 1.8 seconds, 1.9. I think the big danger is for Corey Stas as well. The way he's racing this is very different to Mole. Again, it's all well and good catching up on the straights, but Stas can't seem to quite do that. He can't quite seem to game with the same way. I mean, he's made a mistake, pretty costly one, through the small carousel, and so that means he'll naturally lose time anyway. And look at that gap opening, but look at it close for Mole here. He's gaining on the straight. He'll be getting a 16 soon too, and that will only increase the rate at which he's closing. He has to get ahead of Crutchfield here, and turn one might be the only chance, because it's another straight immediately after this one. He's only really going to be able to make moves on straights, and so it has to be now. He's only going to go down towards turn number 1 once more, because it is the final lap of the race. Flying into the final few corners goes over Crutchfield, and look at the gap he's created already. Just over half a second. Is it enough? It's not a massively long straight on the Grand Prix circuit as they take the white flag. One more lap around the north side. Can Mole get down the inside here? I think he has to. Does he go for the dive on the inside, or does he play it safe? He plays it safe. That might be the race. That's a big sigh of relief for Crutchfield, who now surely is the favourite here.
Can somebody get on the Dr. I mean, 1.9 seconds back, and then make up the time to be in a second? Absolutely put himself out, and as he's going through Tiercon, he's packed up right behind him. That's just not the conventional thing that we've seen. How is David Mole 1.7, should we say, seconds quicker than Evan Crutchfield on the straight down the Dottinger Home? That's just not physically physics, is it?
By the way, seems to be off the road just after the carousel, or just before. Certainly in that part of the circuit, and he's not moving anymore. Ah, he's stuck, that's right. It's just before the carousel, excuse me. He's been trying, I've got to say, for about a minute to get off that curb. And unsuccessfully trying, I've got to add. Which is a shame for him. He and Dean Dirks both came into the pit lane, turned back to pit lane earlier on in the day. And remain on the lead lap, but they remain a very long way behind. And Tim Woodshaw is over 2.5 minutes behind the next driver. I'm sure you can see on the screen there. We've got a big field spread here today among the entire field. It's the leaders, it's not that large. Conrad Moore, Stas and Green all separated by less than 8 seconds, less than 7 seconds, something around there. And it's very impressive indeed considering the difficulty of this circuit. Now, Mull has got a big lap coming up. We saw the gains that he made, 1.9 seconds as he saved. Can he get a little bit closer than that? And can he make a move into the Tiergarten on the final lap here? Because that's what it's going to take if he wants to win this race.
And that is where he's going to have to use the pace, or the mysterious nitrous oxide pace that he's got on the straights. And you'll see it in a minute here. This will be a telling because he's, what, 1.7? Now, I've never seen a car go that much faster than 1.6 than the guys in front on the straight. I've seen a car stay alongside and have the same speed as the guys around him, because obviously, as we know, a young gentleman by the name of Simon is running zero wing pretty much most of the time. So I've seen him maintained. I have never seen this. 1.2 seconds by the time they get into Araberg. I have never seen that in any broadcast of my whole entire life, of how somebody is pulling in that much speed on a straight. Never. I've done thousands. I've never seen that before in my life.
It's bizarre. It is bizarre. Look at this again. There is the game. Remarkable, really. And such an interesting situation as well. And the thing that Krautmann has managed very well is that he's made sure he's been able to maximise his strength. And oh, there's Mull's disadvantage. Getting up on the curb through the corners. That could be a very costly error, because we've got a lot of corners coming up before the next long straight. And that could be a particularly damaging moment for David Mull. But again, the thing that Krautmann's done very well here is making sure he's been ahead into the corners. He's made sure he's defended at the right moments, because if he got stuck behind Mull through some of these corners, he simply wouldn't have won this race. He simply wouldn't have been able to pass Mull. That seems very clear.
Yeah, now I have just possibly answered my own question of why David Mull is quicker than Evan Krautfeld, and that is something that has just come to me on this. These are open setups. If Mull has got zero wing and Krautfeld has got an ounce of wing, he's going to be losing time at a rapid rate of knots. That is the only explanation I can think why David Mull is able to pull in as much time as he has done at the moment.
This could be the race here. I think Krautmann is in a strong position to hold on now. Not a great exit from Bergberg either. Mull maybe with a bit of a flashback there to Admiral First when he got on that similar type of curve on the outside, trying to maximise his run. And in the end, he's slightly stunted his advantage here. That way into back straight. Well, it's not straight, I know, but this long flat out section brings it below 2 seconds. But this is nowhere near close enough, I'm afraid, for David Mull. 1.5 seconds. And all of a sudden, between now and the next long straight, he needs to lose less than half a second pretty much. He is getting closing in again now, just towards the back end of the straight. About a second now ahead. He's surely got the advantage here. Mull needs to be close going on to the Dottinger Hill for the final time.
Oh, there's been an accident or something's down here happened to the high tower. Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
We will have a look at that very at the end of this race, but Hightower, them wheels are not even going straight in. How do you even... Oh my dearie me. Look at that for broken steering. He knows, though, it's quicker for him to drive like this than it would be to turn.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Especially because it's the last lap. It'll be at least 13th, maybe worse. But this is, in terms of someone soldiering on with damage, this is probably the worst I've seen. Because, again, don't know where the contact was made. We'll look at the end. But in terms of actually having to continue on, I don't think I've seen for quite some time anyone with bigger suspension damage. I mean, that's more than 45 degrees, more than 90 degrees one way. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe you are right. Now, I've got a question. We're in open setups, some are running 0, and 0 is between 0 and 26 is the highest amount you can run here. Surely, Parfitt cannot be running an absolute ton while David Mole is running close to 0, right? Because that's the only way that this could physically be caught up as it is right now. And if you don't know what I mean, watch this, because that is physically the only thing that will allow Mole to close up time like he has done. Because surely Parfitt did not come out at 26 and said, oh yeah, I'm going to run it in max win. There's no need to run it in max win.
I don't know what's really at play here, but it's been quite astonishing. And with 1 second to make up, Mully is in with a shout here. Normally you'd say this is race over and Kraftwerk is going to celebrate with one hand off the wheel, but in this situation you simply can't. Here comes David Mole in the slipstream, powering forward at unbelievable speed. Kraftwerk weaves around as if it's making any difference here. Muller's got the choice of left and right. He goes to the left here. Onto the bridge, he's going to take the lead. He powers past. Kraftwerk gets into the slipstream with desperation in his eyes now. He will keep the gap at around 3/10, but even in the slipstream he can't do anything. Muller's just got to hit his braking point here and he'll win the race. Down on the brakes he goes into the Tiergarten. Gets it just on the money and out of the final corner. David Mole is going to win round 7 of the Tail Racing Ring Runners for season 3 of 2024 with a last lap pass on the championship leader, David Mole. What a great drive for his first race win of the season.
And if he pulled out an absolute masterstroke within that setup, everybody else is going to be kicking themselves. I did not even know that much of a difference would play a massive effect. He must have had something, but Kraftwerk surely can't have been full wing. Surely he can't have been. Why would you be? I don't know.
Because after all though, Corey Stas is still getting closed in on by a similar margin, so I think it's Mole who's made the play here in terms of a different setup to everybody else rather than anyone else getting it wrong. I think Mole just got it right.
Yeah, but why would you, if you are running high wing, you know that a lot of the racetrack is flowing. And Smartana does come over the line. Fair play, Jason. I'll give you a clap for that one. Fair play. Look how broke that car is. Unbelievable. But why would you run such a massive wing knowing that you've got a straightaway of about 1.8 miles, I think it was we looked at last time? I don't get that. The corners aren't, they're tricky, but they're not max winged tricky.
I don't know what wings anyone went for there, to be honest, but Mole certainly went for the right setup. That is very clear, and he's taken his first race win of the season. By the way, he's going to close in on Kraftwerk when the drop weeks are applied from 44 points back, which he is at the moment, to 29 back. That will only gain him 2 points, even though as dramatic as that was, he'll only get a couple from that, so he's still got some way to go, but he might well get ahead of the likes of Corey Stas, certainly Ray Attia, who's not here today. He might get closer to Corey Stas too, so a great drive from David Mole. While we were, oh dear, Tim Warchild's got it a bit wrong around Adnan Foster. He's got a very long way to go until the end of the race. So while we're waiting for Dean Delps to go over the line, which is still probably a couple of minutes away from doing so, I'll stop chatting about the championship standings and we'll start showing you it. Because
should we have a look at the results?
The main championship drivers have cross the line.
It's the results of today.
On the screen, David Mull wins by 6/10 of a second as the gap at the end. 11th Grant Road. Corey Stas joins them on the podium. He might be a bit disappointed, but to the podium. Green not too far away either in 4th. Chase Pettigrew inside the top 5. Comfortably ahead of Pettigrew actually at the end, despite their battles earlier on. Dan Kosick finishes 7th then. Alexander Bettas and Scott Sadler and Dave Hernandez. Jason Hightower could only manage 11th, so I think his race started in this race. James Bender finishes 12th. Ben Modes, who unfortunately had some form of pit lane trip throughout today. Dean Dilts, who finished nearly 5 minutes down. Tim Hessling was overlapped down, same with Tim Wardchow earlier on in the pit lane, lap down and in 15th position. So in terms of championship standings, as I say, Evan Kratbard in theory will gain over the rest. Corey Stas now purely looking at points, 41 behind. Dave Mull now 46 behind going into the next round. Matt Green stayed 4th. So the top 4 from this race, the top 4 in the championship as well. Ray Tier wasn't here. He's still on 70 points ahead of Scott Sadler, who was, and he's 6th. Just a point ahead of Dan Kosick, just a point ahead of Jason Hightower, who's really slipped in recent weeks. Dave Hernandez and Dean Dilts round out the top 10. Tim Wardchow just outside the top 10. Chase Pettigrew and Rick Putnam, who wasn't here today, are tied for 12th. Alexander Bettas is noticeably further back in 14th place. Who else was here today in terms of the standings? Dylan Hessling, there you can see him down in 23rd with 14 points. And of the rest of the field, Jamie Bender is 25th. And that is it for those who were in today's race. But as we were saying before, James, there's so many drivers who take on at least a race of this championship because there's such variety of cars. Everybody likes the Nordschleifer as well. It means that we've got an absolutely whopping 34 drivers who have scored a point so far this season, and it shows you just how popular it is.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's the thing when you're bringing in cars like they have done all season. And don't forget, they got the GTEs to come, they got the Jettas to come, they got the Super Formula Lights to come. So there's a lot. I'm being so interested to see the Super Formula Lights round here. I think this is going to be absolutely amazing. I do have the situation on the final week. Now, obviously, Dave's messaged me. He did say, we lovingly refer to the final round as the Duck Week. I live stream online duck races. Each duck represents a car. The car represented by the winning duck is our car for the race. So they don't even know what the car is going to be, and it will only be if Dave streams a duck race. Now, if you haven't, I'm pretty sure he doesn't mean real ducks, right? Because you can't get them to go in a straight line. I'm pretty sure he means like plastic ducks going down a river. I'm hoping that's what he means. I don't think he means real ones. No, and then the winning car, the winning duck will be the one that will come over the line. So let's have a look at a little bit of some of the drivers that had a little bit of drama during this race. So, first up, so let's take that back just a little bit. This is how a little bit of a nudge on that one. And Tash is another one. So this is he's hit the curve. That's going to put him all out of sorts. And around he goes. That's the opening lap. Everyone's staying so close together. So recovery actually from Bettas in the race. Now that we've seen that. Dylan Hessling incredibly wrong into the muck curve, I'm afraid. And that wasn't the only incident he'd have throughout the day, but that was not too much damage. Tim Wardchow going well. Stringing. Unfortunately, just going to power too early out of turn 6. The curb certainly assisting there. So he goes right the way around into a spin. Dilts also missed the pit lane throughout the race, and this made why. Because spun into the wall, and that's where he lost his front end. I thought I'd seen him without a front end, and I was not seeing things. There it is, that's what I saw. And that unfortunately for a while. Jason Hightower, God, just got on the curbs ever so slightly. He had a difficult race, he really did, over the course of the day. Starting down 11th, finishing down 11th, but stuck behind drivers throughout the day that didn't want to be stuck behind. That was Alexander Bettas' spin that we saw the back end of in real time.
getting it wrong over the bumps down just before the carousel. This is Tim Rochell's bigger incident, I think, although maybe he disconnected. Looks like he did.
Yeah, he just kind of puffed away right there, so that's a little bit of a strange one. This is Scott Sander as well. I think this was another one that caught just towards the end of. I think he's going to come in the
There's a problem in these cars. Not really the downforce and high-speed corners, it's getting on the power that you need to be really wary of. Maybe Jamie Pender will find that out very shortly as well. In towards turn 1, or maybe on the way out of turn 1.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Too early on the power, too much on the power too early. And a spin for him. This is an interesting battle throughout the race. Dan Kosick ahead of multiple drivers actually, but oh dear, that was awkward. That was to be giving the place over there, but he would still finish 7th in the end.
This is one else of what Charles won. Again, I can probably say what he's going to do. He's going to slam the power on the back end. He's not going to love it, and snaps and around he goes. Yep, that's where he got beached on there for Tim as well. Now I want to try and see. I'm going to catch a couple more because there is a couple of more. No, I want to go back. Yeah, that's Dylan Hesseling. I want to go back and see how he lost this. Now this is where his disasters, I think, started off. That just looks very, very bizarre for him.
That's clumsy, and yeah, clumsily gets back on the road as well, straight back into the wall on the other side. So Hesseling with having no front end for a while. Had mostly a quiet race actually, but he had one incident. There he is on the brakes at Adnar Forst, throws up a real smoke screen, blows behind. Back going again with that too problem. And this is Jason Hightower gaining places from the likes of Kosick's and Elkstrom's problems. That was the big contact with the wall, and then he lost 5 places after this because of this horrific damage. I mean, you can already see the wheels pointing from this direction, but look at that. More than 90 degrees, left hand down, an astonishing amount of suspension damage that somehow he managed to get round the final lap.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how he did, but this is the final one. I think we just about caught this for Tim Watchout as well, the final one of the race where he just unfortunately spun himself round there. So it's very, very tough for a lot of these drivers, and I think some of them will come out of the SR8 and go, oh my God, thank God, where others will come out and go, actually, I really enjoyed that, and I love the SR8, and the thing is, it's a great car, and it's one that I'd love to see back. These guys, however, are coming from this to a tin top of GTE for the next round.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it will be that dissimilar in terms of speed, actually. We will be doing the VLN layout next week, but, well, if you're watching this live, it's not next week at all, it's tonight. But it's on a shorter layout, although they are a similar speed of car. The GTE probably a little bit quicker. I think the real change is going to be from GTE to Jetta, which is the week after, so round 9. That's going to be very, very interesting indeed. That's a proper slow speed tin top machine. And so I'm looking forward to that adaptation, but not many rounds to go now. I think once again, even despite not winning the race, Evan Krautwald showed himself to be the strongest driver in this championship, arguably, in terms of consistency, and he still holds a very big lead.
Yeah, he absolutely does. You talk about difference in cars, though. They're going to go from the Jetta into the Super Formula Lights. So you couldn't have got any more different. But I think this series has been amazing, and I think Dave and his team at Tower Racing have done a great job of it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they get on in the likes of the GTE. I'm so looking forward to the Super Formula Lights. God, you know, they took the FF1600s round here. What are they going to do in a machine that could go a little bit quicker?
It's going to be fantastic to see, that's for sure. 3 weeks coming up, GTE, Jetta, Super Formula. It's going to be very, very different indeed, week to week. So make sure you join us, subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel, of course, as always, as we push on past 2,000 subscribers, and you can check out all the other racing that goes on throughout the week, of course. But for now, that's it for the latest round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners for Season 3 of 2024. This has been round 7 in the Radical SR8. I've been Ewan Leary alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you next week for the GTE class at the VLN layout of the Nurburgring Nordschleife, it's goodbye for now.
Thank you.